guess I'll go ahead and undergo it by saying hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Modular Components. I am one of your hosts, the Vacuuminator. I'm sitting here all calm and collected at the end of the week. I've got Snowcone 83 with me. Snowcone, I would just like to ask you one quick question to open this episode, and that's how does it feel to be wrong?
To be wrong?
Yeah.
What was I wrong about?
Well, sir, when last we spoke, you said Galactus would be backed within a week. And at the time of this recording, it's sitting at 8,912 backers and it needs 14,000. So you were wrong about that, sir. How's it feel?
I thought it was sitting at like 9. I don't know. I've been watching it and I did slow down. I'm surprised it slowed down, but
I mean, there's plenty of time left for it to get backed. I'm sure it will get backed, but didn't happen within a week now, did it?
No, it didn't.
And Boingo Rider is also here. How you doing, Boingo Rider?
Hi, I'll probably engage in the conversation more this week.
Hooray! Last week was basically just me and Buster talking about Power Rangers comics for 40 minutes while Boingo set in the background. And then we had another 40-minute discussion about YouTube and Tig with Tig.
Yeah. I made a joke or two about Power Rangers, I think.
Yeah, you were pretty snappy. Pretty snappy, a little clappy. Made us all happy.
Well, I guess if you want to talk a little bit more about Galactus, what do you think of the first pre-order things?
First
stretch goals. Sorry.
Oh, the stretch goals? Yeah, we talked about those on No Prize last night or Monday for the listeners. But I think it makes sense that they're going with Galactus with Silver Surfer as probably the first stretch goal because you can't have your peanut butter without your jelly. And Frankie Ray Nova is awesome. She would definitely be the other Herald I'd really want them to do. My only concern is we've already gotten Silver Surfer twice before, so I hope they do something unique here. Maybe give him like a dual white color scheme to represent his first appearance, or if we want to get crazy, just go full Vac Metal Chrome.
Okay, I mean the Vac Metal Chrome would be cool, but I don't want them to go too crazy because I want this to be my surfer. And you say we've already gotten 2 surfers, as if everyone out there is just like, oh yes, I grabbed this surfer off of my Silver Surfer tree that made nothing but Silver Surfers. I never even saw it in person, either of them.
I don't have either of them, okay? I'm
that
just saying, there's people out there who have both those Silver Surfers going like, oh man, another Silver Surfer? I just want them to make all the heralds.
Here's the thought. What if it's Mobius Silver Surfer? What if they give it a brand new head sculpt that looks like the Mobius drawing?
That'd be neat. That'd be a neat take.
I was like, this Galactus isn't a Jack Kirby Galactus.
No, this is not. He's not wearing fucking red hot pants and has a straight up G on his chest. Though I would have first that repaint.
Folks, remember the first appearance of Galactus, he was in red and green.
Mm-hmm. He was literally the Jolly Green Giant.
Mm-hmm.
What if one of the stretch goals is actually just another Galactus in that color scheme?
Beautiful.
That would be amazing. You have them tag teaming Unicron.
In what way, though?
I don't know. I didn't.
Eiffel Tower.
I've been saying it since it was first announced on No Prize. But whoever already has Unicron, you got to back this, and you got to take a photo of Unicron fighting Galactus. It's your responsibility as a toy collector. I feel like.
I know I would, but I'll never get that Unicron probably.
Yeah, same. Though I'll admit, backing Galactus really made me itchy for the Sentinel. It made me really regretful that I didn't back the Sentinel.
Yeah, no, especially now that you're getting more into the X-Men stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that I'm not getting Sentinel. It's just whenever they announced that it was Galactus, I was just like, I have to. Yeah. I'm gonna redesign my desk area, and I'm custom building a shelf that'll fit in this spot.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I'm just gonna stand him on the floor there.
No, he's gonna stand in the corner, and he's gonna be flanked by game consoles, and then every Marvel Legends figure I have.
Hell yeah!
There 5 that need to be right next to him.
Mm-hmm. But no, this is going to be the tallest action figure Hasbro has ever made. So it's like, this is a bit of history right here. They're not going to top this for at least a few years, if ever.
I mean, who else could they build to top it, though? Like,
Eternity.
what other... yeah, but like, who the fuck knows about Eternity?
Said the biggest Marvel nerd in the room.
I know about Anthropomorpho.
It's true.
Do I need to explain who Anthropomorpho is?
No, you're going to do it in the spring. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Galactus, he looks beautiful. I'm excited. I'm both excited and dreading it because that's a hefty chunk coming right out of my first full paycheck from this new job. That's something I can talk about. This last week was my first week at the new job, fellas, and it went pretty well. I obviously don't want to jinx it, and I'm trying to keep things fairly separate. Like, I'm not going to dox myself and say where the job is or anything like that. And I've not told a single person at this new job about YouTube or toy collecting. I'll probably be open to talking about toy collecting there, but telling people, I know there's like certain people out there who say like, oh yeah, tell everyone you can to go check out your YouTube channel because it's only going to get you more viewers. It's going to help you out in the algorithm. Telling your coworkers about your YouTube channel is a fucking nightmare. It is a mistake I have made at every workplace, and I am sick of it. So I'm not doing it again here. Especially because this is the first place, pretty much since I got out of the GED program I was in way back when, where I actually feel like I can see a future outside of YouTube with this place. Because there's a really good retirement program, like you get 20 years or more solid in this place, and you can retire with a good government pension. I actually just finished signing up for that a few hours ago, and I'm currently planning and theorizing that, barring this actually becoming profitable in a way that I can do it as a full-time job or like some other act of God happening, I'm probably going to spend the next 20 years there, retire when I'm like 45, 46, and that'll probably be the point where I actually sell off my whole collection and just use the money from that and whatever money I can save up in the intervening time to travel the world. Because other than collecting toys and making YouTube videos, seeing a lot more of the world up close and personal is the other big thing I want to do with my life.
Wow. Didn't expect some of that to go that way.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I feel like where it's weird that I'm saying it, but I honestly feel like, I'm fine with things as they are now outside of stuff like my dad's health. But I can see myself continuing on like this for the next 20 years and then having a big switch to a different lifestyle for the back half of my life, for lack of a better term.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And that's not to say I don't still want this to become a job. Modular becoming all of our day jobs, all of us going to like an office and making videos and podcasts on a daily basis is still my fucking dream. But you don't always get your dream, so it's good to have a backup plan.
I mean, I'm still not finding work, that kind of stuff. It's still things aren't on the up and up for sound engineer, sound designer people.
Yeah.
Because normally when those things are starting to reopen, they call the people that were still working there at the time and go like, "Hey, want to come back?"
I still feel bad about that radio job you almost had every once in a while. I'm like, fuck, that would have been so great if he could have landed that and it had been profitable.
Yeah. Instead, I got took him for a ride.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, I've told you guys about some like immediate upcoming projects that I have on my burners.
Have you fought that man for the car yet, by the way?
No. I haven't talked to him since fucking beginning of 2020.
Bro,
that car's probably gone by now.
Yeah. Like by now it's probably like in a junkyard or something. I don't know. At this point I don't care.
Was it in your name?
No, it had not been transferred yet. I just have the title. So like he could probably have gotten another title, paid the fee or whatever. So, no, but like I got projects on the front burners. I'm working on things. Actually, I just found out. Okay, have you guys seen the webcomic app Tapas?
No.
Heard about that, but I don't know much.
It's like Webtoon, but it's a different one. Oftentimes, if it's like an independent thing on Webtoon, it's not like officially like sponsored by Webtoon. They also have it on Tapas. It's kind of like that thing. They have a web novel thing, so you can just go like, "Hey, I have web novels. Let me upload them." And I've told you guys about like how many goddamn web novels in my head that I just need to get out.
So not only are you doing graphic design stuff and coding and musical shit, but now you're also writing regularly.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the same skill sets.
True, but it's just like look at you turning into a little powerhouse over there.
I mean, I think I may have told Cody this one time, but have I ever told you about my theory of work?
No.
There are only 4 jobs. There
Okay.
is engineering thought, engineering execution, artistic thought, artistic execution. So basically, an engineering thought is like architecture, designing the blueprints, coding, things like that. Engineering execution is like craft work, it's plumbing, it's carpentry, it's stuff like that. It's functional, but you gotta functionally do it, you know? It's to make something. Artistic creation is like writing, it's drawing, it's sculpting, it is the creation of an end thing, regardless of like that kind of stuff. And then the last one's performance. It's singing, it's dancing, it's acting, it's doing a radio show, it's doing this, a podcast. But ultimately, if you can figure out which job quadrant anything is, you can just borrow the other skill sets that you have from that quadrant already and just reapply them.
This is a really Boingo core theory, and I like it.
No, because think about it. This is just basically a verbal version of writing in real time. So I can use this method of like talking and communication and then just type it out and then I'm writing. That's how I write. I talk to myself.
That's fair. I think a lot of people kind of plan scripts out in their head that way too.
Bless your heart.
Cody, I know what that fucking means.
You act like I'm not from the South too.
You don't act like you are.
Because I don't really like a lot of the mannerisms of the South. I understand them, but I don't like them.
Hey, bless your heart is like the fucking single greatest thing that come out of the South.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
There's no better way to tell somebody "fuck you" while sounding endearing, you know.
The only other way to do it is the Florida Disney way. Have a magical day.
Oh my god! I was listening to frickin' WTF the other day, and they were talking about how like Florida is just a never-ending tourist trap that you can never actually escape because no matter where you are, there's Disney merch. And I was like, from what I remember, that sounds right.
I mean, there's also the fact of like 30 minutes away is the tourist trap of St. Augustine from where I'm sitting. 40 minutes of I'm being hailed.
Oh my god. And then there were 2.
And then there were you.
Oh my god. Who would listen to a podcast with one person? Who would enjoy something where there's no dynamic, no one bouncing off of each other?
I'll be right back.
All right. The joke I was trying to tell is I would because I listen to Bill Burr's podcast.
I mean, I could ramble on to myself about some dumb shit.
That's true. You could. But you know what's some dumb shit we probably should ramble about while the person who hasn't seen it is out of the room?
No.
Snake Eyes. Because you and I saw that this week.
We did.
How'd you feel about it?
Okay, so right out of the gate, right out of the snake gate, I did like it.
Yeah.
I was afraid that it was...
By the way, for listeners, there's probably going to be full spoilers.
I was afraid I wasn't going to like it or it was going to be bad, and I don't think it's bad. I love, like, Baroness and Scarlet. They're very good characters.
I was really surprised with how much I liked Scarlet. Scarlet gets so little screen time, but she makes a huge impact.
Yeah. The thing that kind of was throwing me out and, like, kept me on my seat is, like, how Snake Eyes is kind of like a piece of shit in this origin film.
Yeah.
Almost to the end. And I'm just like, oh, well, he's not going to be a piece of shit now, right? He's going to make the right choice. I'm like, oh, well, no, never mind. I'm like, well, but now he's not going to be the... Oh, no, never mind.
It takes a long time for him to become a good boy. And I think that's kind of the point, is like they're trying to show like paralleling arcs between him and Storm Shadow of like one is constantly resisting being good and the other is constantly resisting being evil, and like right at the last minute they both switch.
Yeah, I really like Storm Shadow's character like a lot.
Yeah, I especially love the detail of like he starts off in the movie. The costume design in this movie is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
In the beginning of the movie, he's wearing all black, and with like each progressing scene, whenever he changes outfits, there's just a little more white, until eventually he's in just like a movie-fied version of his classic outfit, which made me so happy.
Yeah, and that cream white is not a bad look, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fighting scenes are great. I enjoyed them. It seemed like everything was well choreographed.
I think a lot of the fight scenes were great, but I was really worried towards the beginning of the movie because that first chase scene, on the docks, there's a ton of shaky cam, and it really was just like, oh god, I hope this isn't the rest of the movie. And the shaky cam backed off a whole lot after that. Hi, Boingo. We're talking about Snake Eyes now.
Do you want to continue, or just like give me a hand sign to turn up my headphones?
I mean, how much do you care about spoilers?
I don't care.
Okay. Yeah, we're good to keep going if you're okay with
I
us
don't give a
keeping
fuck.
going. All right.
I'll just make jokes if I.
All right. So what other stuff did you want to talk about, Snowcone?
I don't know. I definitely enjoyed the fighting and the costume design. One of my favorite things in the movie is that and Chris will know about this. Whenever they pick up, like whenever Storm Shadow goes back to Japan with Snake Eyes, and they get picked up, and because they're part of the Arashikage, they're like, royalty in Japan. And so the front of the vehicle convoy is a Toyota. What is it called? The Crown, Chris. Donut did a video on it.
I know what you're talking about. The basically it's a luxury version of a Toyota that's only ever sold in Japan to the highest bidders. Like you can't.
Yeah, like you literally have to be royalty to buy that car.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And you can't take it out of Japan. It's only in Japan.
Yeah, I think they even have rules on like getting them used because they sometimes go onto the used market, but it's like after like so many years, and there's a shit ton of restrictions, and Toyota still chooses who to sell that car to. Like
Okay.
you don't have $1 billion and be like, I want this car. Toyota,
you have to submit like an application.
No, not even. Toyota has to be like, yeah, okay, you can buy this car.
Yeah, you're cool. You can buy it.
Okay.
Not even. Oh no, you can have it. You can buy it if you want it. But like Toyota's also like, there's a little bit of, I don't want to say it's national pride that Japanese people have in Japanese cars, but it's just like it's the way that old boomers feel about American made stuff, but like less shitty, I think.
I get that feeling with a lot of Japanese culture that they're kind of boomery about their own shit. Especially after listening to so much Trash Taste. Oh man.
Yeah.
So they actually got some of those fucking Toyotas for the movie?
Yeah, no, literally the lead one, it was the first one I recognized. I was like, oh fuck, that's exactly that Toyota. It looked like one of the newest ones.
Holy shit, it's
kind of hard to tell because they don't really change year to year, because even some of the newest ones still look like they're from like 20 years ago.
Yeah. But that's also like to make it like really spacious and luxurious,
Yeah. I knew it was one of the newer ones because it's more rounded, but still. So like there's a level of detail for like the fighting and like the backdrops and stuff like that, and it seems like they were just definitely trying to like pay as much attention to like that kind of stuff as possible.
Yeah, it felt very accurate as like what would a Edo period ninja clan look like in the modern day. And like a lot of the set design was really good. I don't know how much of it was on location, but the fucking Arashikage Palace is huge. It's like an entire city unto itself, which was kind of like a take you out of the movie for a second thing once you realize it. But then I was like, this is basically a comic book movie, so who cares? And then I was really surprised with how much characterization they gave Hard Master and Blind Master, and then also just the fact that like there's so much shit from Snake Eyes' origin that isn't even in this movie. This movie is left open-ended for a sequel with Snake Eyes still having his voice by the end of the movie, and Hardmaster and Blind Master still being alive. And like I feel like probably in like the first draft of the script or something, the guy who killed Snake Eyes' dad was Zartan, and that might be something where they're like, let's hold that reveal back for the sequel. Let's have him come back and kill Hardmaster or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, was his dad always a Joe?
I've never heard of that from an origin before, but it was one of those things where I was like, either that's something from the comics, because I haven't read any G.I. Joe comics. Either that's something from the comics that I don't know about, or that's a brand new thing. And if it is a brand new thing, it's a change I'm okay with, because it works to get him involved with the Joes right away. The thing I wasn't so okay with, and this is more like a general movie making kind of thing, the freaking last shot of the movie and the after credit scene are in the last trailer they put out, and I had watched that like 2 nights before going to see the movie. It was like a freaking Amazing Spider-Man 2 type situation, and that really annoyed me.
With them getting his suit.
Yeah, because again, spoilers, everybody. Snake Eyes doesn't get his iconic ninja battle suit until like the very last scene of the movie, and he puts it on, and the movie ends with him riding off to go and try and get his buddy Storm Shadow back, because Storm Shadow had just been banished from the Arashikage.
I mean,
the Toyota Century. That's the car you were talking about, the Toyota Century.
Realistically, they should have no reason to like fucking accept Snake Eyes back either. Like, I felt like he went past the point of no return.
Yeah, that was kind of what I feel like. There should have been a scene of like there's like a scene missing of both Snake Eyes explaining things to like Storm Shadow, Akiko, and Sensama, and then Sensama forgiving Snake Eyes.
Yeah, because we do get a scene where she's like, "I'll kill you myself," like "fuck you," essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 2 other moments that kind of like irk me about the movie. The scene where like it's like his second trial, and he's like teleported back to where his dad was killed. That just felt awkward to me.
It was a little weird, yeah.
Because it's super cliche, and it was just like awkward. And he's like, "It's not your fault," and then he's like kind of crying, and then he like walks away, and I was just like, And
then for like another 20 minutes of the movie, he's still like, I still want to kill the guy that killed my dad. It's like that should have been the point where he was like, okay, I'm no longer into this. I'm gonna try and betray.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, come on now, like, fuck.
But they wanted to have that dramatic face-to-face with the killer scene, which was a good scene on its own, I thought.
Yeah.
Is Snake Eyes acting as like a reboot for G.I. Joe stuff? For like
movie
stuff?
Definitely.
It's basically a Bumblebee type situation where they're not saying if it's a prequel or a reboot, but it's probably internally like, if this does well, it's a reboot.
Okay.
Because if you remember, because I'm the only person who gives a shit about Rise of Cobra. In Rise of Cobra, Scarlet and Snake Eyes are already with the Joes and are established to have been with the Joes for a while. So it works to have them show up and have their first meeting be here. How did you feel about the actual use of Yo Joe in the movie?
They said it in the movie?
Yeah. During that big scene, that big moment where all the heroes are like lining up and walking down that street, when Snake Eyes comes into frame and like walks up next to Scarlet, he just kind of whispers to her, Yo Joe. Like, hey, how you doing?
Bro, I didn't even hear that. I didn't even like recognize that. Maybe me and Dave were saying something to each other, or like there was a scene where like somebody was like laughing, but I don't know. I have no.
The other thing with this movie is like I didn't notice a lot of like overt jokes. There's a lot of subtle humor, but most of the things that I would have expected to be played up for comedy are just kind of there.
I don't mind that. I don't like forced jokes.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just it was a weird kind of thing to see in something that's been advertised as like a popcorn flick.
I mean, there's plenty of popcorn flicks that don't have a ton of jokes.
The other thing that kind of like irked me, and it's like I immediately was talking to my roommate Dave, who I saw this movie with. So like Baroness is cool, and like being a G.I. Joe fan. Do what?
Do you simp?
Oh, I don't know. Baroness is
He's
cool.
too classy to simp.
And
That's
like
true.
being a G.I. Joe fan, you know that like Scarlet and Baroness are kind of like rivals and shit like that, and that's fine. And they can be like coy and like playful and stuff like that, and be like, "Oh, I'll get you next time," or we could do like these alliances and stuff. But that's like G.I. Joe as like a media where it's Cobra is called a terrorist organization, but they never do any kind of terrorism really. Because it's like
cartoon terrorism.
yeah, they do cartoon terrorism, but like we see them teaming up and like working with Baroness about like 5 minutes after like Snake Eyes is like, oh my god, Baroness like derailed a train and killed 250 people with a bomb. Anyways, I guess we could work together, you normal person. Like,
yeah, that is a little weird. I didn't even think about that.
and like that was placed in front of us so he could see that like yes, uh, like Cobra is bad and you don't want to do anything to help these people. And like that when he saw that, I was like, this is the moment where he decides not to work with him anymore.
And the whole plot of the movie is Snake Eyes being tricked into trying to get a MacGuffin for Cobra to do some real bad shit with. So yeah, that is awkward.
And it's just like hard, I guess. I was like knowing Snake Eyes, but like not really knowing Snake Eyes. I'm like, would he do this without like he's not Snake Eyes yet, even though it's what they call him, but like, like would he just be like, yeah, fuck it, go ahead and kill some people. I just want to kill the guy that killed my dad. I mean, he rights his wrong, but like still it just seems like there was like 3 separate times where he was gonna be like, I'm not doing this, and he's like, you know what, I'm still doing this. Because like it made like his betrayal to what's her name, Akiko, like that hurt. That was like upsetting, and that sucked. Yeah. That character was phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah, and she's a brand new character for that movie, which made her super impressive in its own right.
Yeah, but I mean, everything else seemed cool. We didn't really get to see anything too crazy other than like the gym.
Yeah, there's no his tanks in this.
Yeah, which is it's whatever. How do we feel about the use of Joe Colton again? Wasn't that made for Rise of Cobra or whatever?
Joe Colton is kind of a thing that they osmosis into the comics and the wider Joe canon after that. I think during the IDW days, the early IDW days. So I don't mind them bringing that concept back here as like a name drop.
I don't know. I just don't like there being like oh, that's Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also kind of like there's a meta-textual understanding, like
because it's a nod to the 70s figure, right? The 60s, 70s figure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was still pleased with it.
As long as Bruce Willis doesn't play him again this time. Because I love Bruce Willis, but he's too fucking old now. Stop putting elderly Bruce Willis in action movies, Hollywood directors.
Keep doing it. Redo Die Hard, all of them, but just with old Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is crawling across the glass. He's like, "Oh, I need my pills."
Are we gonna have to exhume Alan Rickman?
Yeah, who plays Alan Rickman in this version? Who can possibly live up to Alan Rickman's
hologram? Alan Rickman.
What?
It's just a hologram. Just like use the footage, but like
you Tupac that shit.
Yeah.
No. You know who you get Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is Alan Rickman.
Yeah, no, Gordon Ramsay as Alan Rickman as the character from Die Hard.
Anyways,
guys think the Snake Eyes movie will lead to more Joe stuff?
I really hope so. I really hope that this is the beginning of like a new golden era for G.I. Joe, because I was one of those people who, like, at the time I wasn't a huge Joe fan, but I was super put out with the way Retaliation kind of killed everything. And it wasn't even because it was a bad movie. It was just a shitty release.
I thought it was a bad movie.
Well, that's like your opinion, man.
Is that the first Joe movie or the second Joe movie?
Well, the first Joe movie is technically the 80s animated one, but
No, that's G.I. Joe the movie. Mm-hmm. There's a difference.
No, that's Transformers the movie. There's a difference.
The Transformers the movie. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero the movie. And then the first live action one was G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. And then Retaliation was the sequel.
With Rock
Dude.
the Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Listen, my biggest that's the one thing that's like I love the blind master in this. Fucking, you could never, ever, ever replace fucking RZA as the blind master in the other movie.
Retaliation. Yeah. Blind Master barely gets anything in that movie, but yeah, it was just a brilliant casting choice.
Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
Fucking the like Dwayne and Snake Eyes are the reason to watch that movie. But they just don't fucking care about the shit that happens in that movie. They're just like, yep, we leveled, like London got leveled, everything's dead. Oh, dude, gone.
Oh yeah, Rise of Cobra sucks. There's things about Rise of Cobra I like, is like, this is stupid but fun, but Rise of Cobra as a movie is not a good movie.
So you were saying, is there 3 G.I. Joe movies?
Yeah, there's Rise of Cobra, there's Retaliation, which is the one that got held back so they could do a 3D post conversion, and then that happened, like, that was announced the week the toys started hitting shelves, and so it getting held back like that killed the toy sales, and then nobody wanted to see the movie by the time it came out, so nobody was buying the toys, nobody went to see the movie. Instant franchise death. And now we have Snake Eyes and the classified line and the retros and this big push to, like, let's make G.I. Joe a thing again.
And the new TV show, aren't they making a new cartoon?
That's true, they are.
Yeah, but see, like that, I'm just deadly worried about the cartoon because right now the only thing good that's like a Hasbro brand that's good media is the fucking Bumblebee Cyberverse whatever.
Yeah,
that's like the
Cyberverse was
only
great.
thing. Kingdom is bad. All right, just fuck it. Like it's bad. It's not good, and it's bad.
The War
It's
for
not-
Cybertron cartoons are not good. The collector focused cartoons are not good because they're trying to give collectors what they think collectors want, which is grim and gritty, when in fact what we want is what they're giving the kids. Like, every collector I know is like, oh yeah, the War for Cybertron show sucks. Cyberverse though.
Honestly, I don't give a fuck what it is, as long as like literally the director. Whenever I got excited, whenever I watched the director talk about it, and he's just like, "Yeah, I want to take a little bit more serious approach." And no, what he meant is, I want to take I'm taking myself too seriously approach.
Yeah.
That's what the entire fucking thing is, and it's just not good.
Like, War for Cybertron is like if Zack Snyder made Transformers.
I think that would be decent. I don't. The War for Cybertron is just like if we gave the keys to the wrong person, we just like fucked up a little bit. Is all. They didn't even like.
No, Vac. Imagine a Last Stand of the Wreckers done like 300.
All right, time for a hot take, boys. I don't actually like Last Stand of the Wreckers all that much.
Oh wow!
I just didn't vibe with it. It's not. I didn't like the tone. I didn't like that kind of story. Was not what I wanted from Transformers at the time, and I've never reread it since. It's probably very good. It just wasn't for me.
That's just like one of the only comic things I've read, and I'm like, yep, that's a good one. I like that.
That being said, I like plenty of other IDW stuff. Windblade is the fucking best, in my opinion.
Were there any greater Hasbro Cinematic Universe hints in Snake Eyes other than Joe stuff?
Let me rack my brain for a second, because I don't think so. No.
I know they said that they're gonna do a Transformers G.I. Joe movie.
They've hinted at that a few times, and like they've hinted at a cinematic universe before.
What do you mean?
Like,
we had a G.I. Joe Transformers movie. It's the first one. Don't you remember seeing all those army people running around helping Optimus Prime?
Shut the fuck up.
I bet you dollars to donuts one of the early scripts had one of those characters named be Duke.
Yeah, Lennox might have been Duke at some point. I still think they should have had John Cena in Bumblebee be a young General Hawk.
Yeah, that would fucking probably be a really good cast, I guess. Damn it. I really like John Cena's character in Bumblebee.
Yeah.
But see, I'm kind of scared about like the new movie. Like, I love Beast Wars, but like the one thing I've kind of always known about Beast Wars is I'm like, it existed in the perfect time, and I don't think we can get a CGI again unless they like.
I don't think they're trying to capture Beast Wars so much as they are just bringing in Beast Wars characters, because everything I've heard about Rise of the Beast feels very like, okay, we took a step back with Bumblebee. We kind of just let that guy do whatever he wanted, and oh hey, look, it made money. Transformers movies still make money. Full steam ahead with the next one.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like contradicting some of my own feelings about this, where it's just like, because I was like, the fucking Beast Transformers don't have to turn into like fucking organics. I don't mind if some of them do, but I just don't care if they don't, just so that like I don't have a problem with them being the character and this being big, because like Primal and Prime can't stand next to each other because a fucking monkey is nothing compared to a semi-truck, but like we have all this media now that depicts them as the same size.
Yeah, he's gonna be fucking Kong sized in this movie.
Transformers, but kaiju doesn't sound like a bad idea for a movie.
No, and I mean, I don't want them to be kaiju either, but I guess they would be roughly that size. I just think kaiju, Devastator size.
Didn't we also kind of already do that with like Age of Extinction and the Dinobots, the way they were depicted?
All right, any design from that, like all of that. Age of Distinction, any of those movies depicted anything that wasn't an Autobot as like somebody go outside and take a picture of some scrap that's like polished and animate that.
How can you say that when your boy Nitro Zeus exists?
Nitro Zeus, like, that's the only good thing. The only good thing. I guess the designs in those movies are like the design in that movie got a little bit better, but that entire movie is just like fucking brain poison to watch for me, dude. I like watched it by myself.
Full disagree. I love Transformers 4. I think it's barring Bumblebee, the best live action.
Ooh, no, I don't know about that. There's still like, some like, but he literally fucking Optimus Prime puts on rocket boots and is like fuck off at the end of the movie and like flies off.
Because that's the point. Optimus Prime is an asshole in that movie. That movie is the movies acknowledging that Movie Prime is an asshole.
But I'm not saying that that's him being an asshole to do that. I'm saying that's just so fucking dumb. That's just dumb.
Yeah, see, no, I say like Bumblebee's best Transformers live action movie, and then the first one, and then the rest are like a far distant 7th place.
And it's hard for me to say like I love Bumblebee anymore because it's a good movie, but like finding out how badly they treated fucking Peter Cullen just broke my heart.
That does suck, but I feel like that's almost a separate issue at this point. Like voice actors are kind of taken for granted in general in Hollywood, which is
what
really
they did
shitty.
to him wasn't like taking for granted voice acting bullshit. It was like they were like pushing around this old man who loves Optimus Prime, and they just didn't respect him.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the interviews.
Yeah,
that wasn't Knight doing it. It was like producers.
I don't know.
It was like producers and people in the VO booth being like, just stick to the script, and him wanting to do other stuff and like questioning where they were taking the character and whatnot, which he was right to do because for the large part, like I said, Movie Prime is kind of an asshole. And you got to remember, Cullen has always said when he got cast as Optimus Prime, his older brother like gave him the advice of don't be a Hollywood hero, be a real hero. And so, like, he takes Optimus Prime's characterization really seriously. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's annoyed by the way they write him in the movies and tries to push back against it. But also it doesn't surprise me that fucking Hollywood types are like, just read the lines, voice boy.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It just hurt because, like, I know he's old, and I'm like, that could be the last time. Like, and I mean, I shouldn't expect, like, fucking corporate to care, but, like, fuck.
I would be shocked if he's not in Rise of the Beasts. I feel like they're going to put him in Rise of the Beasts, and maybe we'll have somebody with a lighter touch this time. Because it is a whole new crew.
But like, god damn it, how come we can't get like fucking like literally Chalk is like right there. He's right there.
Yeah, I do want Gary Chalk. Gary Chalk is my childhood Optimus Prime. Like, I know to a lot of people he's just Primal, but like Unicron trilogy kid. To me, Optimus Prime sounds like Gary Chalk. Megatron sounds like fucking his name just dropped out of my head. The guy who voices animated Optimus. I'm gonna look him up right now. Hang on.
Dude, what if Frank Welker will just never die, so
Frank Welker's gonna live. David K. Megatron sounds like David K to me, and Optimus sounds like Gary Chalk.
David K is who I was originally trying to talk about. That's my bad. I do love Gary Chalk though as like Prime, very much so.
And by all accounts, Gary Chalk is like an awesome guy to be around. There's like videos of him just hanging out with people in like the lobby at TFCon, which is so cool.
But like Ron Perlman's cool. I love his Joker. I love him doing voice work. I'm just like, man, like why would they not? I don't know. Or is it to like put a butt in a seat? I guess.
Yeah, probably.
I just want like care to be given to Transformers, and I find it more now. I used to have a bigger issue with this before, because like all we had was the movies, and like there wasn't really a decent toy line or a care for like. I mean,
I feel like there's always been decent toy lines, and there's been good cartoons ever since animated. Every cartoon has been at least solid.
So after animated came Prime.
Yeah, and then you had RID and Rescue Bots, which I don't like RID, but I think it's solid. I haven't watched enough Rescue Bots to have a real opinion of it. But then you have Cyberverse, which is fantastic, and I kind of feel like the collector focus shows are almost their own thing, but they've all been trash.
I think Mattel is doing it better than Hasbro's right now as far as like
definitely. Should we get into it, lads?
I want to so bad.
Because we all watched this weekend the first season, because Netflix releases tiny ass seasons so they can have more regular releases. But we watched the first season of Masters of the Universe Revelations, and I'm going to go ahead and say it up front. I'm not a He-Man fan. I know a lot about He-Man through osmosis of just talking and to other collectors and watching their videos and stuff, but never really gotten into He-Man. But I did enjoy this show a whole lot. Before we get into like talking points and whatnot, fellas, what is your opinions of He-Man?
Of the show or of He-Man in general?
Like, what's your experience with He-Man in general going into this show?
Okay, I was Thunderpants. I always watched Thundercats more than He-Man. On the whatever channel it was, Boomerang or whatever. So my only connection was also through osmosis, except I did watch some stuff. I've always known of like the franchise, and then my friend Cole, he really likes it, so I've watched a lot of stuff with him. But like that's like when did He-Man come out? Like early 80s?
Yeah.
He-Man, original He-Man is early 80s, and then there's the 2002 series. And that's really the only media He-Man's had.
No, there's one other thing. There was a short revival cartoon in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, New Adventures. And then there's also the Dolph Lundgren movie. But like only He-Man hardcores care about those two things.
I've seen that movie twice.
Oh, wow.
But anyways, like I've watched it, but like He-Man is like the one I like the least. I always felt like as like a show, Thundercats was better. But like as toys, He-Man, which is like He-Man's one of the most interesting toy lines I've ever seen, just because of all the characters they have, and I've always loved and admired how like simple and stupid the names are, it's like fucking Stinkor and shit like that. And
it's one of those everything but the kitchen sink kind of lines.
Yeah, and like that's fine. Literally the vehicles are just I don't even know. I don't have words for that. They're just so cool.
And it's also amazing just how much of it is repurposed from earlier Mattel stuff. Like, I didn't even know until I went to a panel hosted by one Pixelated Daniel at a convention in 2019 that freaking Battle Cat and Panfor are like reuses of a mold from Mattel's G.I. Joe ripoff line from the 70s.
Oh,
but
interesting.
My experience with He-Man is I got hyped at the 2002 cartoon when it was airing. And I was like, oh man, this is dope. I like the sword and sorcery, but with like a weird mix of tech. And I was like, yeah, sweet. And then eventually, I can't pull it out right now, but I have the first box set for the He-Man cartoon.
The 80s cartoon?
Yeah. Like 6 discs of He-Man.
And how much of that have you watched?
4 discs of it, so about like 30 some odd episodes.
Huh.
No, it's He-Man is very He-Man looks more interesting than it is.
I can definitely agree with that, because like I said, I haven't seen a lot of He-Man. Really the only time I've sat down and watched He-Man is like last year. I tried to get into 2000X and I watched the whole pilot and I was like, yeah, this is fine, but I don't feel like it's grabbing me in any way.
But yeah, that's pretty much my whole, like, I've seen some of the toys and I thought they look cool, but like most of my experience with He-Man has been like general cartooniness and like understanding.
I will say there was a long time where back when Classics was in full swing, I almost jumped into that line a bunch of times because I was like, these just look like cool action figures, but never
They
quite
definitely
pulled the
were.
trigger. I do have one He-Man figure presently, and it is a Classics. I have Classics Fearless Photog just because I love the story behind that figure. Which is basically that it was a create a character contest that never actually went through until like 20 years later when they made that figure of Fearless Photog, and they like sent the guy who was now all grown up a whole case of them.
Oh.
That's sweet that they actually like fulfilled it and everything. That's nice.
But yeah, so we're all going into this as like non-He-Man guys who like the idea of He-Man, basically.
I guess I should. I've watched a lot of He-Man, like the original cartoon. I was just like, hey, whatever. This is. I know what this is. This is old and classic and whatever, and it's a different time.
Yeah, it is. It's very that kind of era Hanna-Barbera animation.
Yeah.
It like, okay, think of Scooby-Doo. Imagine if they tried to make Scooby-Doo into Conan the Barbarian. That's He-Man.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it's also just one of those things where like with 2000X and with the infamous What's Going On video, both those things are like things that happened just before I was old enough to where I would have been super into that. Like What's Going On predates me being on the internet from like a year and a half, and I didn't know about it till like years later, and I was just a little too young for 2000X at the time, I think. Also, it probably was on a channel I didn't get.
It was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, and my family didn't have cable until I was like 9 or 10 years old.
I don't ever remember watching it. That's crazy that it was on Cartoon Network and I just didn't fucking watch it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that happens with a lot of 80 revivals on Cartoon Network. Remember Thundercats?
I did watch.
Don't talk trash about the new one.
I'm not talking trash. I'm going like, yo, that was dope, but nobody fucking watched it.
That's another thing where it's like, I didn't care about original Thundercats, but I gave Thundercats 2011 a shot, and I really dug it at the time. But getting into this show, Masters of the Universe Revelations, penned by one Kevin Smithington. How are we feeling about this, boys? How are we liking this show so far?
I loved it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's damn good. And like... I was watching the trailers and I was just like, man, this might be the year I become a Masters guy. And I think this is the year I become a Masters guy. Like, the entire Revelations toy line is now on my wants list.
See, I wanted the toys beforehand.
And see, I was looking at them going like, God, I hope I don't want those after the show. But no, I need that Skeletor. I need that He-Man. I need fucking Battle Cat and Duncan and Tila and all. Just give me everyone. Just give me all of them.
No, like the whole show is really good. It's really solid. I think it's really well structured, well paced for what it was trying to do in like 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm. It's very much a free act story, which really makes me interested to see where the next season goes, because it does end on a cliffhanger. Again, listeners, full spoilers for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it quite a bit. The whole first episode just grabs you really well, where it kind of feels like what He-Man has, but there's just this air of like everything's a little more sophisticated, a little more mature until you get to that final battle, and suddenly it's like, oh, okay, now this is definitely something geared towards adults because of certain characters just getting outright mooked.
The first episode, the best way I can like think of describing the first episode is it's like a classic episode of He-Man, but some things go wrong. Like, you watch an old school episode of He-Man and like, the good guys win, everything goes right in the end, ha ha ha, you laugh in the freeze frame. This is like, oh no, something went wrong, we fucked up. Shit, what do we do now?
Mm-hmm. And the whole show is just kind of reacting to that, because the plot of the show is that, spoilers, last warning, Adam fucking dies at the end of the first episode, and then there's a time skip, and it's like, magic is gone from the world. There's very little magic left, and now Tila and the sorceress are trying to bring it back.
Question.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about the He-Man plot element that they did?
With him dying and being... I thought it was a bold choice, but a cool choice. It took He-Man from feeling like a generic hero type to a real character. I feel like I got characterization. I got to know who Prince Adam is for really the first time.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought it was cool. It just made me want to know more, but not in like a I've been robbed and like they didn't give me all the information I want in this, but just like I hope at some point, I'd be interested to see that, but I'm fine that we didn't get it. It's cool because like it's just interesting, just the comment of him saying like, oh yeah, he's the only one that chose like his lesser form or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of a
word,
but it's like a big thing to say something about the character.
Yeah, like here's like they did more for He-Man and Adam's character by killing him than they could have ever had just having him be alive.
Definitely.
I love how they handled him too. Like fuck. He's just like a Superman. Like
he's Superman. No, he's Clark Kent.
I know.
And I love, oh my god, it's the animation in this show, CGI notwithstanding, the animation in this show is fantastic. Like that first transformation scene, that was like, I can just hear
the magical girl.
Yeah, I could just hear He-Man fans all over the world jizzing in their pants over that. I was like, that's probably what people have wanted to see for 30 years.
That's the other thing I'll say, or I guess we should start talking about. I don't know. There's not like a good moment, but I can't really think of anything else to talk about at the moment. I mean, like I said, I love how they handled every single character. I mean, 3 of my like favorite He-Man characters are like Scareglow, Roboto, and but who else did we get that I forgot? I was like loving the whole goddamn time.
Duncan?
Oh yeah, Duncan. That's what it is. Duncan. God damn. Jesus Christ.
Freaking old man
Duncan. God damn.
I am so annoyed that they're making young Duncan for the toy line. I'm like, no, give me Punished Duncan. Give me Duncan in the poncho with the big fuck off Rob Liefeld cannon. That's the Duncan I want.
Yeah, I wanted to have I wanted like a deluxe figure of that. Dude, Scareglow was just great.
Scareglow was like one of the big highlights of the show, which was really impressive considering that's a character who has only had toy fiction so far.
But like it works so well within the lore and everything. So good.
Dude, the cave glows in the dark, man. I'm so fucking satisfied.
Mm-hmm. And was that also Mark Hamill? Did he do Scareglow and Skeletor?
I don't know.
I'm gonna check on IMDb real quick. Hang on.
But like, and Mark Hamill as Skeletor, it was fucking perfect. There were some moments where I was like, "Oh, you're diving into your Joker a little bit," but like for the most part, it felt like Skeletor.
Yeah,
I like it. Fucking Kevin Conroy is Merman though, right?
Yeah, that was a surprise. That was a really nice surprise.
It's just like dead serious Merman, like fucking.
And also Kevin Michael Richardson as Beastman pulled out a really good performance for what little he was given.
Like genuinely, I don't think there was a bad. There wasn't a bad performance, but the big thing about it is it felt like a similar branch of performance that you would have gotten from the classic cartoon. Like they weren't trying to go like, oh, we're super dark and serious now. So it's more like, no, you're still making a cartoon, guys.
There's still corny jokes in the fight scenes.
He-Man pops up with the smile and going, ha, I'm He-Man.
And I like how they acknowledge that, because like Tila at one point was like he has the sense of humor of like a teenager. And it's like, yeah, he does. And I'm like, that's fine. That's great.
All the flashback scenes of just like generic cartoon adventures with them were so good. It's like it adds especially for someone like me, I felt like that added context to the world of like this is where we came from as opposed to where we are now in this sort of like almost post-apocalypse Eternia.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to start talking about is like, have any of you seen some of the reviews and things that people are saying of this?
Yeah.
Your boy has a whole rant about that, but before we get into that, I just wanna follow up. There's no listing for Scareglow on IMDb, so I'm just gonna assume it was Mark Hamill.
Yeah, it's probably Mark Hamill.
Here's
He's so fucking good.
Oh, it was so good. Also, just real quick, the way they animated skeleton heads talking was fucking choice. The way
Mm-hmm.
Scareglow, like the way they moved his jaw, and the same thing with Skeletor, is just like it looked amazing.
Yeah. Like all the animation in this show is fantastic, aside from the CGI vehicles, which look okay at
I
the
don't have a
start.
problem with.
Yeah,
I understand it. I understand why they make that choice. They just stick out really badly.
See,
I
for
like
me,
the fact that they stuck out because it gave off the appearance of a toy commercial cartoon.
yeah,
Which is,
no, it looked like the toys, literally.
yeah.
I can see that, I guess. But no, the reviews have not been too favorable for this show. Though oddly enough, I've seen more people like trashing the reviews on my Twitter feed than trashing the actual show, which I suppose says volumes about my Twitter feed.
Yeah. No, because I was on Reddit and I saw a goddamn picture of the one scene with Tila and Adam where he's basically going, okay, what happened on fucking Eternia? Don't worry about it. And like you fucking left us. I died. Yeah, but but like what about the people who left behind? And then the person put a comment underneath it and was like, you die, but I'm the real victim. And like people were just going like, yeah, she's a fucking shitty character, fuck her, bleh, poorly written and all that kind of bullshit. And I'm just
They were also comparing her to that one bitch from Invincible.
Amber.
Hmm.
And I'm just sitting here going
What's
like,
bad about Amber? Oh, wait. I was thinking of that's Invisible's boyfriend, right? Invincible's boyfriend, girlfriend.
Invincible's
Right.
girlfriend is Amber in the first season, yes.
I had a problem with that. I thought that part was dumb.
Yeah, but they're teenagers. It's meant to be dumb.
I know. Well, whatever. This isn't a thing. That was like the one thing I had an issue with that whole fucking thing.
Besides, it's been like the cartoon, the comic book Amber is like nothing. She's air. But no, like
That's sorry. I don't want to talk about that. We don't have to talk about that.
yeah.
Continue.
But like people in the comments were going like, "Oh, shitty written character," and I'm just sitting here going like, "Motherfuckers, you're ignoring the entire context of the scene where she is framed as being in the motherfucking wrong."
Like she literally says, "I know I'm wrong about this. I just need to vent." Or something
Basically,
along
I
that
just want to
line.
stay angry. She's stewing in it, and you're never supposed to stew in anger, and that's the whole point. And it's just like, damn it!
Like the whole plot of this show is Tila getting dragged around by I think she's a new character, the African American lady, and the sorceress and Evil Lyn. And the whole time Tila's just like, I don't want to do this. This sucks. You guys are all assholes. You all lied to me. Nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. And like slowly being brought out of that shell. That's the plot of this show. But I guess a lot of people just latch on to the fact that like, oh, it's a girl who's a main character in a He-Man thing, so we have to find a reason to be mad about this.
Yeah, I've seen like from the complaints that I've seen, I'll like start reading like they look ruined my childhood, fucking lesbian bullshit. I'm like, all right, so that's a throwaway comment. Somebody's just
Like I thought
You
that
didn't pay attention to the show because 90% of it was just like, oh, by the way, you had a crush on Adam and He-Man, didn't you? And you feel weird about that now because they were the same person, didn't you? Huh? Like that's every conversation she had with Evil Lyn. Every single conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Tila would always fire back as like, yeah, what was it like handling a literal boner?
But like most of it just seems like people bad. I've seen a lot of positive reviews too. Like it has an overwhelmingly positive like regular review base that seems to be climbing. And like the thing is, like I'm like, man, I don't think a lot of people like some people are gonna like this that are from like the old back in the day type shit.
I think Pixel Dan said it wasn't exactly what he was hoping for, but he still enjoyed it.
Honestly, that's a fine response. If it was like wasn't what you were expecting, but you can like understand where it's coming from, yeah, fine. But like if you just sit here and go like, there's no He-Man in the show. Where's He-Man? And I'm just sitting here going like, motherfucker, the whole show's about He-Man. It's about the
like responding to it's like going to see a Mad Max movie and saying it's called Mad Max. Why isn't Mad Max the main character?
Because it's not about like it's the themes, it's the metaphors. He-Man's in every single scene of this show because they're trying. It's like fucking Death of Superman. It's like, oh, what does Superman mean to these characters? What does He-Man mean to Duncan? What does He-Man mean to Teela?
And by extension, what does He-Man mean to you? Old 40-something toy collector sitting in his basement complaining about fucking inclusivity and shit.
Yeah, like, I don't have a single problem. Like, nothing seemed forced. Even, like, the way it, like, somewhat... Like, because, you know, they make it seem like she has a thing with, like, the person she's walking around with. Like, they hint at that. And they do the same thing with He-Man. And that's a completely natural thing. And, like, neither part of that is forced. And, like, just the same shit with, like, She-Ra. Whenever that was coming out and I was watching that. I think She-Ra is a great cartoon. And I remember seeing people complaining about, they're like, oh, well, like, the classic version of She-Ra. And I'm like, absolutely not. Have any, like... I remember just thinking, I'm like, has any of y'all motherfuckers seen a classic episode of She-Ra? Because it's literally just like the entire cast of She-Ra that's not She-Ra picking on She-Ra for being a woman. Literally, that's the fucking premise of most of the fucking scenes. Just like, ha! How could you fall for that, you stupid fucking idiot? Fuck you. Anyways, the show's called She-Ra, so what's up?
That's interesting because I don't know anything about classic She-Ra, but I remember watching from a distance as like a whole new group of fans flocked to Masters of the Universe because of the new She-Ra show, while a bunch of old fucks just went like, this isn't my childhood, this sucks. Why is there lesbians in this?
And see, the thing is, I'm like, y'all didn't do that. Y'all didn't watch She-Ra. I'm like, fans of He-Man didn't fucking care about She-Ra. That shit's like a magical girl shit. There's no way y'all were watching. I'm sure some people did. But, like, it was literally like a He-Man's Barbie. Like, He-Man was made to sell cartoons. Or action figures, sorry. It was a cartoon for action figures. I mean, I think it was, like, the cartoon that caused there to be, like, rules and regulations as to what we show kids. So it's just not like a 25-minute fucking toy commercial.
Yeah, ironically, He-Man is the property that allowed for the laws that allowed for the Transformers to fucking happen.
Yep. And also, it was like He-Man was a toy line first. The cartoon came after. Like, it set up the business model for the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, no, it's like, yeah, she was a pretty princess magical girl show. What the fuck? That's it. Like, He-Man's a Conan Barbarian, but with, like, robots and shit. That's it.
It's Conan the Barbarian meets Buck Rogers.
Yeah. Or Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
This new show made everything seem way more interesting, and they took, like, a serious tone for a lot of the shit. Like...
But it wasn't, like, overly self-serious. Like, it was going, like, we are taking the stakes of the show seriously, but we are still dealing with a character named Merman.
We're still willing to have fun with ourselves. This isn't fucking War for Cybertron.
And, like, the jokes were still a little corny, like the old cartoon. It felt right. The tone felt right. I really enjoyed it. And also, there's a giant meta text that I thought was really cool.
Yeah, why don't you get into that theory of yours? Because I love it, genuinely. We were talking about it after No Prize last night.
This show... Okay, let me just describe the show like this. This show is about a person recognizing that the thing that they had grown up with and loved wasn't what they thought it was, and then became disillusioned with it. After some time years later, something comes up and goes like, you need to reconnect with the magic of your past. And you need to go through a journey of rediscovery of that magic and pull out your old toys from the chest. This is just a metaphor for a person growing up, abandoning their childhood toys, and rediscovering that youthful imagination years later.
Yeah.
I think I could agree with that.
It's Kevin Smith taking the action figures and going like, these don't just belong on your shelf. These are for fun too.
Yeah, play with them. Do the thing. And I think ultimately that's what the second to last or last episode, it's the one in heaven.
I think that's the penultimate, yeah.
It is really kind of all about, because it's just, ultimately it's, hey, these are beacons of thought that are ever present, but like aren't genuinely affecting anything. Ultimately, like they're things. They're corporeal. You can play with them. And that's why Adam coming back is so important, because he's like, no, people need me there, you know?
Yeah. I love that whole episode because like that's just this whole show has so many little instances of like taking toy stuff that I know about and giving it fiction, because a lot of the Masters of the Universe stuff is like weird disparate toy things that weren't in the original cartoon or even 2000X, and like got proper fiction thanks to like bios and stuff in the classics line, but haven't been in a show yet. So things like Scareglow being brought in, and like the way they use the Eternia playset to represent heaven in this show, and then having the other champions there are freaking King Grayskull, Vicor, and Wondar, fucking characters that have only existed as toys up till now, is so
They're all
awesome.
like He-Man repaints, weren't they?
All He-Man like characters that were used to add to the lore, like Vicor was like a sort of takeoff of the original concept of He-Man. Like he's based on early concept for He-Man himself. King Grayskull was them trying to flesh out the reason Castle Grayskull exists during that classic storyline. And then Wondar, that's the canon name for Wonder Bread He-Man.
Yeah, and wasn't Hero a different repaint too?
Yeah, he was another kind of like this is like a past champion of Grayskull.
Literally, this whole show is Kevin Smith going like, "All right, we're finally making the cartoon like the toys. There we go." Because like, oh yeah,
even the Power Sword. The whole fucking point of the Power Sword is like it's doing the shit.
The split in half thing that was only ever in the original mini comics.
Yeah.
Not just that, but the fact that it opens a key at the base of Grayskull, like the original thing was meant to do, to open the fucking key for both Snake Mountain and Grayskull, was supposed to be able to like slot in and drop the door.
It's also like a smaller thing, like Evelyn's staff getting turned into a club, like her toy had.
Yeah.
It's like little things like that. It's like, oh, that is such an incidental detail, but I really appreciate it for some reason.
A lot of stuff like that.
Also, going back to my meta text theory of toys and imagination, Triclops and the whole techno cult is basically Kevin Smith going, "Hey kids, get off the iPad. Toys are fun."
Yeah.
Oh, I hope not.
I'm not like. Here's the thing, though. Duncan and Roboto are also technology, but they're integrating with the fun and toy and imagination. It's not saying technology bad, it's saying only technology bad.
Triclops is saying give yourself over to technology, whereas people like Duncan are just using technology as a tool.
Like they're integrating technology in with the imagination of toys, you know?
Yeah.
It's basically saying, hey, don't just sit there and drool at the screen. Engage with the material, engage with your brain and imagination.
I was thinking that it was more of like a explanation as to like why the fuck some of these characters just have absolute slap shit random shit on them. Like fucking Trap
fucking
Dog.
awesome was Faker. Oh my god. Just making him a literal Terminator. I need that figure now.
Oh man.
Dude.
I genuinely love the techno cult. I love just the whole design aesthetic.
I'm sorry, I just like was absolutely pleased whenever Skeletor's like, "Oh, but he's not He-Man. He's more of a faker," and I'm just like, "Come on, that's fucking."
It's so good. The corny dialogue in this show, like, genuinely is so charming.
Oh man, so there's so many just like good little tiny things. I love Moss Man. He only has like 2 lines, but Moss Man like has my heart.
And do you know who voiced Moss Man? Alan Oppenheimer. Original Skeletor.
Oh,
Yep.
That's nice.
And it was beautiful.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar as Tila, Chris Wood as it's fucking great cast all around. Who was Man at Arms again? Let me check. Liam Cunningham. And Justin Long as Roboto, the best fucking character in the show, Roboto.
Best boy, Roboto.
Oh yeah, I'm very pleased. Very pleased with that shit. Oh, fucking Phil Lamar was Hero. Great.
Yeah.
It was a absolutely great Phil Lamar performance. Is almost all of them are. Phil Lamar is pretty much the voice of everything I love, anyways.
He's static in Samurai Jack. So
And he's Green Lantern John Stewart in Justice League.
Yep.
he's just like the best. No, like I also find it funny. Like now we finally have like one more '80s character who dies for dramatic irony. Like we have Optimus Prime, we have Duke. Now we have He-Man.
Snake Eyes did it in the IDW comics recently.
Oh.
Snake Eyes fucking is dead in current IDW, and she's not Jinx. She's some other new character they made up for IDW. But there is now a female Snake Eyes who was a student of the original Snake Eyes.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it's a trope with 80s characters. I can't wait for Lion-O to die in the next Thundercats reboot.
The last Thundercats. That's what this thing kind of reminded me of too. Is it kind of reminded me of the last Thundercats reboot, which I actually liked and thought was a good show.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Like, just even the animation reminded me of. It's just like Thundercats doesn't have a whole lot of like world building. He-Man has like a stupid amount of random shit that they have.
Yeah, I think it's partially because they're going off of like that old Conan stuff, because it is very much a, hey kids, here's 101 actually nice and friendly Conan for you. So like there's already kind of a pre-built idea of a world with Conan the Barbarian, so they can just kind of like file the serial numbers off and give it a weird toy sci-fi coat of paint, and you're good.
Also, just endless enemies with weird gimmicks.
Yeah,
like I'm watching the flashback scene with Whiplash right now. Who's just, what if we painted a dude green and gave him a big tail?
Yeah, fucking Stinkor was great.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Stinkor voiced by Jason Mewes?
Might be.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I remember it coming out that somebody was Jason Mewes. Let me see if I can find that on the IMDb real quick.
No, but I'm just also surprised at like the quality of this, you know? I'm like, where's my Transformers that's like this, you know? Like, fuck.
I think it's partially because Transformers just hasn't had an off period. It's like, there's always been Transformers, so there's never been a chance to like take a step back and reevaluate what is Transformers, you know?
Well, no, I think it's more that they don't want to take a step back. Like, they just want to play it safe. That's why fucking Transformers the Transformers movies in their prime became like a appeasing the Chinese market shield type deal.
No, Mark Hamill didn't do Scareglow.
Oh, who did Scareglow?
Tony Todd.
Holy shit! That fucking makes so much sense. Tony Todd? Tony Todd's like a big famous voice man.
Yeah, I think he did Candyman. I think he was Candyman.
Yeah?
Oh shit, I remember that. Yeah, no, I remember reading that. That's fucking rad.
Yeah, no, it's Candyman. Yeah, he's Candyman. I think he's returning as Candyman in the new movie too.
Oh my god, Cree Summer was the priestess. That's awesome.
Oh, I appreciated the fucking religion that they were like. They're like, yeah, it's fucking global, whatever the fuck. I don't know if that's a reference to something that just sounded so nonsensical.
Yo, fucking Henry Rollins was Triclops.
Fucking star-studded cast all over.
Henry Rollins, lead singer of Black Flag, was leading a techno cult.
Oh my god.
Okay, quick question. How do we feel about Orko?
Dude, I loved Orko.
I liked it. Like, Orko's always been one of those things from He-Man that I've kind of looked at like, that's kind of weird, but whatever. He-Man fans really like him or tolerate him or whatever, so I guess he's fine. But, like, the backstory they gave to him in this, and I don't know how much of it is pulled from other things, because, like, I know shit all about Orko, but everything they did with him in this was, like, very, very solid stuff that, like, kind of reminded me of a certain blonde-haired lady I'm fond of.
I loved Orko in this. I'm sad that they killed him. I'm sad that he sacrificed himself, but like, because I would love to see more of this version of Orko, this kind of like, yeah, I know I'm a goof up, but I really want to keep trying and help people.
Uh-huh.
Like, I love that characterization. And you were right, Jason Mewes is Stinkor.
Hey!
It's I don't know, like, for me, just one of my favorite things about He-Man is just, like, the crazy cool shit, and they just, like, took the cool shit and made it cooler. Mm-hmm. Like, the fucking vehicles and stuff. Me and my friend Jake played the this game called Toy Soldiers, and it's like a RTS. But you get to command heroes, and it goes into like a third-person view down on the screen. So it's a really cool feature of that. And like, it's always been a game that's been about like these weird like. It was originally like essentially like what if like Warhammer style like miniatures, but for World War II was like a video game. And so like you had like Germany from like World War One and weird shit like that, and it was pretty interesting. But then the second one came out and they actually got licensed stuff. And so they have G.I. Joe, Cobra, Assassin's Creed for some reason, and then He-Man. And they all have their own maps. And the He-Man shit's just fucking rad. Like, because it uses all the different toys and stuff as like units. And they have so much shit that you could do that. Like, that's the thing. Like, they have, if you were going to make an army out of He-Man properties, they have something for all of that, and it's all apparent in the show. So that was like the thing that I appreciated a lot about the show, aside from it being like enjoyable to watch and good writing.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I liked it more than I liked Snake Eyes.
Ooh. You know what? I'm actually going to have to agree. Because, like, Snake Eyes was a solid 8 out of 10. I'd give this, like, a 9.5.
Ooh, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I gave He-Man an 8 out of 10. I don't know what I'd give Snake Eyes.
Well, I don't know. I'm more generous with things than you are, I feel like. But, fellas, I gotta ask. I gotta take bets here. I gotta do the thing. Show of hands, who thinks Tila is becoming a champion of Grayskull in season 2?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, if they're only doing 2 seasons, yeah. If they want to continue it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she like picked this when she picked up the purple part of the sword. Her like forehead was glowing.
Mm-hmm. Also, Adam is like double dead now, so I don't see them bringing him back again.
He didn't die. He didn't die.
Not definitively, but like he had a fatal injury.
No, that's not fatal.
You could be shot and not die.
Fucking bleed out, dude.
He's right there. He's right. Yeah, he's in the Castle Grayskull. Like the fucking magic's back. Like it's just.
And besides, that's like, dude, that's where you get stabbed when you want to show. By the way, the character's probably not gonna die from this. That's always where you do it.
Okay, that's a fair point. I'll succumb to that.
I'm honestly expecting like whatever, dude. Fucking Skeletor. I was having such a problem trying to spell that. I can't remember if I was like. I think I was trying to like. I had just woken up.
Copy paste it from the toy packaging.
I was like trying to go to bed. I know it's a Skelegod, but like I was trying to spell it while like half asleep, and I was not fucking succeeding. And I don't know what I ended up saying. I think I said Selgod.
Let me.
But
check.
anyways, he's definitely like at the least he's gonna make Prince Adam like a fucking like prisoner or something like that.
Yeah.
My whole thought of like it's understanding what He-Man is. That's what this whole first part is. It's the second half is going to be Adam realizing what He-Man is to himself while he's sick and going like, I want to help, but I don't have the sort of power. I'm just Adam. I'm not He-Man. And people just going like, no, you're fucking Adam. You can do it because like He-Man's not something special. You are He-Man, you know?
Cody, you said Selly God.
Nice. Even worse.
But no, that'd be a good arc for the second season, definitely.
Because the first arc was about Tila recognizing that what He-Man what He-Man meant to her and all that kind of stuff, and then He-Man's back. He's got to fucking deal with that too, and go like, "Oh shit, am I He-Man without the sword? What's going on here? I thought if I just like gave my all and sacrificed my entire being, I could save Eternia. That didn't work. So what do I do now? What does that mean for me?"
Yeah, and that was the other thing I really liked is the fact that like he does that classical, seemingly like end all be all move, and it doesn't matter because like no, I wouldn't. That's not really how things would really work. That's only perfect stories. There's never a happily ever after.
Yeah, this whole story is the consequences of the happily ever after.
If Chris's theory is right, then I can't wait to see what enemy like a villain they introduce in the second season that's going to directly represent toy scalpers in modern like toy collecting.
What are the aliens from New Adventures? Just bring them in, have them start kidnapping people.
Yeah, they're bounty hunters, and they don't give a shit. It's like, oh, you're Prince Adam.
Oh my god, it's Neckbeardian. Or Stinkor. That's probably just have it be Stinkor.
So I got another thing I feel like I should bring up. Do y'all feel like we're gonna see She-Ra characters at all in this?
I don't know. I'm trying to think if like the shows really connect like that because like they reference Eternia in She-Ra, but She-Ra like is like over.
Yeah,
And
I
I
feel like
think
the whole point of this show too is like it's supposed to be, it picks up where the 80s show ended and disregards New Adventures, but also where the 80s show ends, Adora had already been introduced and become She-Ra in like He-Man and then spun off into She-Ra. So
Yeah, because she in the original continuity, they're brother and sister, and She-Ra just fucked off to a different planet.
Mhm.
yeah.
So at most, I think now that Magic's back, we'll probably get like a radio broadcast of like, "Hey, we're from the planet from the She-Ra cartoon. Magic's back. What's going on in Eternia? She-Ra's really fucking worried about Adam. What's going on? We haven't had contact in years."
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's the most.
I don't know. They could fit together. If I could see some of the She-Ra characters in this setting, I would love it.
Bring in fucking Bo with his fucking 80s porn mustache.
He doesn't
Be a
have a
fucking
stash
whiplash
and,
for all the She-Ra fans coming from the Netflix cartoon, going like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're bringing She-Ra stuff into this He-Man. Why is he big, buff, white with a mustache?"
Yeah, because like he's a little black boy in the Netflix
How did they
show,
make him
right?
more gay? No, it's, the character Bo isn't gay in She-Ra, but like he has like
that's
two
the great thing
dads.
about like Masters and She-Ra though, is if you look at some of that original character art, it's like, wow, this is the gayest thing alive. I love it.
Also,
Oh,
Kevin Smith's daughter was in the show.
Oh, who did she voice?
She voiced. I'm looking at the name. Give me a second. Lena.
Who's that?
Is that the black girl that was going around with Tila?
I don't think so, because Lena was an old toy. No, Andrea was the
Okay.
new girl.
Yeah, and she's voiced by
Tiffany Smith.
Yeah. Tiffany Smith isn't related to Kevin Smith?
No.
Hmm.
You know who Kevin Smith's daughter is?
Do I?
Harley Quinn Smith.
Oh.
Jesus fucking Christ. Give me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah, mate.
I mean, whatever, dude. Whatever.
Yeah, but Kevin Smith.
Who agreed to that?
His wife, apparently. Kevin Smith, you made a good show here, but I also want to clarify it's probably the only thing he's ever done I've liked.
I like Dogma.
The show's pretty good. The naming of your daughter, yeah.
Your whole attitude towards comics.
Hey, his Daredevil run was okay.
I haven't read his Daredevil, but like fucking, I just remember the one episode of Fat Man on Batman I ever tried to listen to, the interview with Grant Morrison. There's like 20 minutes of him just talking about his own history with comics before Grant Morrison ever speaks. And I always try and listen to that podcast, and like that first 20 minutes just has me shut it off by 10 minutes in. Because it's all this fucking boomer comic book fan shit that I don't care about. I'm here to listen to Grant Morrison, not Kevin Smith's autobiography.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to or watched any of that.
I mean, he is very boomer in his comic stuff, so like it's not.
Yeah, like I remember during that whole fucking rant of an intro, he's like, "Oh yeah, back when I was reading Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth, I would always buy free copies. One to read, one to tear up and put up on my walls, and one to bag and board and hermetically seal so it could never be touched again." Like, you're a fucking psychopath, dude.
That's also super common, though.
Yeah, back in those days, that's what you did. I mean,
That's true.
and realistically, he was right to do it because selling off his comic book collection is how he made Clerks.
Okay.
It financed his entire career.
I mean, if I was rich, there would definitely be some things that I'd buy two of. There still is sometimes that I like have. I mean, like, I don't
I don't
know.
know. I just never get into that whole you buy one to open and one to keep sealed mentality in any sphere of collecting. Like I don't know. I don't begrudge people for doing it, but I'm always just a little like that's extreme, dude. Like I can't afford that. What are you doing with your money?
Yeah, like I mean, with a lot of the things I have that are mint in box look cool mint in box. There's a few things I have that I'm like, man, one day I might crack you open, but
Yeah. Most things I buy with the intention of opening them. Like
I don't know. I'll say this: I definitely love and appreciate seeing like old stuff retro in box,
mhm.
and being able to have it out of box as well, because seeing it in box in perfect condition displayed just takes you back to when you were a kid. Like, it's like that's like the purest form of nostalgia almost.
True. That being said, though, I do buy stuff from when I was a kid, mint in box, to have the experience of opening it back.
Oh, I do too. 100%, I do too. Like,
Um,
oh my god.
I won't go older than my own childhood, though. Like, I'm not gonna buy a G1 Transformer and fucking unseal it. That's like no. If somebody who grew up and was a childhood Transformers fan during the '80s wants to do that, I won't begrudge them for it. But like, that's not a responsibility that belongs to me.
Yeah, like I wouldn't do something like that, but like I don't know. I don't get um micro machines and almost anything but mitten box anymore because like I don't have the need to like really play with some of the micro machines. I just like looking at them. And they're like one of the best toys for display because they're perfectly displayed in a almost isometric angle in the box, so they're always at like a sideways angle to where you could see three sides of like you could see like the top, the front, and the side and the back if you turn it. So just from like standing in front of something and tilting your head left or right, you can pretty much get everything that's visually there to get.
I would also imagine with micro machines that they were played with and messed with so long because they were a fun toy that to find complete good versions of everything is probably better for you as a collector.
Yeah, it's hard.
You don't have to worry about busted axles or ruined paint. You go like, this is good. I know it's good
Yep.
with the raspberry sound and everything.
Is there anything else we want to duck into tonight? Because I'm kind of fresh out of topics, boys.
I mean, we talked about the big thing.
The big fang, the little fang, the teeny weeny fang. We really hit all the fangs.
Don't talk about the thing in your pants.
Can I talk about the thing on my shelf?
You get a new thing?
No.
You got thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing. I'm surprised there's nobody on YouTube with that reoccurring gag. Just anytime you say something like "Here's the thing," just a picture of Ben Grimm pops up.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
I've seen people do it once, but like somebody who has that as a reoccurring gag in all of their videos.
Chris does it to me sometimes, or maybe other people too.
It's just like once a year, guarantee. I'll just send Cody a text. Here's the thing, and just send a picture of Ben Grimm.
But I love that shit. I'll never not love that.
Great.
There's just like some things where I'm like, that's perfect.
I think he's also like one of your fave comic book characters, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
You just like big beefy boys from comic books because you like the whole
thing. And my two favorite Dragon Ball Z characters. Yep, he's my favorite X-Men character.
Hell yeah.
They're doing good. They're not doing a ton of things with Colossus right now in the comics, but they're doing cool things.
He's in an interesting place. I'd put it that way.
He's happy and fulfilled.
His smile, his optimism, it's restored.
My favorite two Dragon Ball Z characters were bald back before I ever had a want to be bald. I remember I used to.
Let me take a guess. I know one is Krillin.
The other one's Nappa.
I fucking knew it, Nappa.
That Tamashii Nation's Nappa announcement really had me thinking, dude. I think that's what got me into super collecting was Dragon Ball Z fig arts, because I would buy fig arts figures a lot. And I was like, damn, this is how good something could be. But they're really expensive and they're not hard to play with. It just like the release got so slow and hard to get that I was just like, well, I don't care anymore.
There's also 16, Android 16.
Yeah.
He's dope.
That's the only fig arts figure I still have, I think, because I can't get rid of it. It's too perfect.
I mean, Android 16 is just also a good character. He's a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
I also may be mixing some of Dragon Ball Z Abridged into that.
No, he's still good.
Yeah. No, DBZA is good though. I there's a special place in my heart for it. And now I'm just watching one of its writers and cast members just be a fucking VTuber.
What?
Yeah, no. You may have seen like clips online. A guy called Takahata.
This is new to me.
Okay, hold. In DBZ Abridged, he was Nappa and Perfect Cell and a couple other side characters. He also played Abridged Alucard and their Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. And right now he's a VTuber called Takahata, who is a bartender at a bar.
Oh no, you have told me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically, the bar is in the shitty part of town, so other VTubers come in and just fuck with him. Like,
has Iron Mouse shown up on his?
She has. She didn't fuck with him.
Aw.
They just had a lovely conversation. No, like there's a character called Kimrai. She is the demon queen of like this underground hell maze.
Oh wow.
So she put a collar on him, and it's slowly turning him into a dog.
Oh no.
That's the current arc. There's another VTuber that works at his bar called Mim the Incubus, who is a femboy incubus character.
Excellent.
And there's been others. There's been a caribou woman who just yells at Takahata. There's a dude. It's hard to explain. He just looks like a really well-drawn thumb dude with like no nose.
Like a thumb?
No, like he has the head like a thumb head. Like you look at a dude and go like, that dude has a thumb for a head. Yeah, kind of like you. I'm getting a pic of him.
It's interesting because like I feel like the current arc of my media watching is being dragged kicking and screaming into liking VTubers by you and the Trash Taste Boys. Because I spent all of today up until like 6 o'clock editing my new video that will have already come out by the time this comes out, and watching clips of Connor and Iron Mouse.
Also, frickin' Little Karibo, who did Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, is
yeah, he's got a VTuber persona now.
Yeah, no, his VTuber persona is a Karibo.
Oh wow.
He is literally a little Karibo.
Have I said this before, where like my experience with Yu-Gi-Oh was like I just liked opening the card packs and I collected a bunch of scapegoats because they were my favorite character.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
Yeah. All right.
I just remember what the character I'm trying to think of's name is. It's Crimbo.
Also, like going back to Revelations for a second. Right now, I'm watching the scene where the party meets up with Duncan for the first time, and God, I just love how they spend the whole show just alluding to that backstory with him and Sorceress, Make and Tila, that was alluded to in 2000. That I know through osmosis was alluded to a bunch in 2000X and never resolved, and it's never resolved here too. I feel like that's Kevin Smith poking fun at the fans.
Let me see how the Masters of the Universe Revelation is doing in reviews right now. That's the other thing to note, by the way. It's called Masters of the Universe, not He-Man Masters of the Universe.
Yep, because I feel like, again, it fits this story better, but also I feel like Mattel's been trying to get away from the straight He-Man branding for a little while. Like, it wasn't called He-Man in the Masters of the Universe Origins. It was just called Masters of the Universe Origins.
But
wait a minute. The person who voices what's her name?
This is this is the fun dude VTuber I was talking about. His name is Crimbo.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Oh no.
This dude looks like Patrick Starr's human hard-ass brother.
This is what he normally looks like because that's alternate colors.
How does the model move around? Like, does it move?
My take still stands.
Yeah, no, it moves. The way you do there's a program called Live 2D, which is basically a very, very robust tweening system. So, like, you take... Okay, in the second picture, there you see on the right of it, there's a bunch of little discrete body parts. You can tween and individually move those individual parts, and if you do it right, it makes the character look like it's moving. And it can get really, really expressive. Like this is a tweet with a video that of the dude, and you can open it up and just like see him move, and it looks really good.
Yeah, where am I going to see that?
It's in the Discord chat.
Dude, maybe I want to be a VTuber, dude.
Yo, I'm just gonna say it like this because I think it's fracking hilarious. Remember, Bats is in the Discord server of a VTuber I'm in. I'm like, we're both in the same Discord server. I don't know if she recognizes that it's me though.
They probably don't remember your tag, but I'll tell them.
Yeah, no, I just think it's funny because like I saw their username, their profile. I was like, oh shit, that's Bats, and I clicked and I was like, oh yeah, no, we're both friends with Cody. We're both on the Discord server you made to play games once. And it was like, oh hey, they're
What's
there,
the
and I never
VTuber?
mentioned it. What?
What's the VTuber?
The VTuber is a dude named Randon, who is an orc salaryman.
What's the Discord called?
Randon's Den.
I'm texting him right.
Oh man, I just found it funny. This is like, oh cool.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Jake is very deep involved in VTubers.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
I've
names,
mostly stayed with the English indie ones, except V Shoujo. But that's mostly because they're a bunch of chaos gremlins, and I love that.
You could probably guess where Jake's going.
Yeah. There are a bunch of horny ones.
Well, he's not necessarily going after the horny ones.
Yeah.
The one that Ekum Bokum came from, that one's
yeah. That's Hololive. That's like the big Japanese one.
Ekum Bokum.
Egon Bolcom. Vac is losing a tit. What's going on?
So, this requires a bit of context. Cody, there's a deathmatch wrestler that me and Boingo have gotten very into recently because he has a very wholesome life story. Nick effin Gage. He lost the world championship of the promotion he's in last night in a match to one of my personal favorite wrestlers, Matt Cardona, who is like the wrestler who's known for being a toy collector. And a wrestler who on our favorite wrestling promotion that we watch and talk about every week on the Modular Media Wrestling Podcast, MMWP, right here on the channel, just tweeted photos from that match saying, ha 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 ha, money well spent, clock ticking, Chris. And everybody was replying to it going, dude, you know he lost the match, right? And I just refreshed my feed and he deleted the tweet.
Ooh. Big on MJF's face. Damn.
I still don't understand.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay, Cody. We still love you.
We'll still let you come on the podcast and shit around each week.
You'll still let me come, thank God.
Yeah, no edging for you.
Hell yeah.
No, I've been slowly going deeper and deeper to the VTuber fucking hole, and like where Vac is right now, it started with Trash Taste.
Yeah. And I love how you can track the trajectory of them getting dragged into things all from that first episode. Oh,
yeah. Like, they call it an anime podcast. It's not an anime podcast. It's just a podcast of just slow descent into madness.
Yeah. It's a podcast about being a YouTuber in Japan is what it's about, because they constantly detour to rant about Japan and like their love and yet not understanding of some of its cultural aspects, and also like their befuddlement at other cultures they regularly interact with. Like, them shitting on America is almost a regular segment.
Yeah, even though two of them are dating Americans.
Isn't Gaunt engaged to his American?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gaunt is engaged to Sydney, who's also secretly, but not really secretly, but also secretly a VTuber. Like, you may have seen her while watching Iron Mouse clips. She's the very big-titted girl with wings and the blue sweater.
I haven't watched any of those clips yet, but I did put some of them in my watch later playlist.
Okay. The second that character starts talking, you go, oh yeah, that's Sydney.
Dude.
Yes.
Y'all.
Yes.
Flame Toys is doing G.I. Joe stuff.
Hell yeah.
Whoa! What kind of stuff? Are we getting figures? Are we getting vehicles? What scale? What's
Yes.
going on?
It looks like it is 6-inch scale. I'm trying to share it.
Oh my
How
god!
the
If
fuck
we can
do I-
get more vehicles from Classified out of this dude,
That's what I'm thinking. I literally cannot share this to this. Oh, there it goes. No, wait, no, it won't let me share it to the copy link.
You gotta send it to the right chat.
Do it, boy. Do it, boy. Do it, boy. We
Do you want
believe in you.
general or toys stuff? Does it fucking
General
matter?
modular general.
Yeah, just do it
No,
here.
I was fucking y'all complained when I did it the opposite way last time.
I don't. We're just gonna complain at you anyway, because
Oh, holy shit, yo! That Storm Shadow is literally what I've been wanting from Classified series since the start.
yo, that looks fucking sick.
Look at that little Jeep. Oh, the
With
Doom buggy,
motorcycle
the Doom buggy, I
model
mean.
kits. Holy shit! That look. Oh,
Bro, I
What?
need that fucking Doom buggy and I need that Snake Eyes bike.
are all the vehicles model kits?
Yeah.
That's fucking brilliant.
Flame,
That's what they should
Flame
do.
Toys only makes model kits, dude.
Oh shit! They have
Yeah,
a Patreon.
They're about 6 inches, so it should work.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna fucking keep an eye on this.
The
Flame
only
Toys might
problem
not
with-
have known what they've done, but if I could fit my fucking Joes in that goddamn buggy, they got it. I'm buying at least one of them.
Yeah,
That bike kind of looks too small for those characters, though, don't it?
maybe a little bit, but I don't know. Bike toys are weird. They almost always look a little small
I mean, some
in,
bikes look small in real life.
in collector lines. I wonder if that Storm Shadow means that we're fairly close to a Hasbro Storm Shadow that looks like that, because Hasbro has had like this weird rule of you can't do a version of a character until we've already done that version of a character.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yo, Buster finished Ultraman Z, my favorite Ultraman, and it's their new favorite Ultraman too, apparently.
Wait, we got Buster in the podcast somehow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Has Flame Toys ever gotten a license from anything other than Hasbro? Because they know they got Transformers, right?
Oof. Look at this fucking take that Fake Eyes just posted from his replies.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Gross.
pretty disgusting. And like his tweet captioning this is him making a joke about it and saying, "Don't worry, wife, I am only interested in action figure cinema that doesn't empower women." Because the fucking reply is, my wife said, "Ugh, another G.I. Joe movie," and I told her not to worry, we wouldn't watch it for 2 reasons. 1, Snake Eyes speaks, and 2, I'm convinced it's really just a movie empowering Scarlet. And Scarlet probably has the least amount of screen time out of any pre-established G.I. Joe character in that movie.
Who is Fake Eyes?
Fake Eyes is a funny toy photography man. He's like a Giga Beetle type.
I don't know who Giga Beetle is.
Cody, do you know who anyone is?
No.
He barely knows who I am.
Well, here's Fake
You
Eyes.
know who you
Follow
are?
Follow Fake Eyes.
I don't
he
even
posts
know who
funny
I am.
photos. He's also famous
Follow a
as the
person
guy
who
who
just said this.
Hey guys is the person like dunking on this guy, right?
yeah, like here,
Oh.
yeah, and like he's also the guy who's famous in the toy community for buying every Spider-Man figure and posing them twerking.
Oh,
Like
nice.
that's his brand of humor. Oh shit, Cesar Bononi was at a CZW show tonight.
Sick. Glad he's getting work.
Yeah. Man, now we're just straying full on into fucking post-recording shit.
I mean, this is whatever. It's our podcast. We get to do what we want, bitch.
Yeah, you're hanging out, you're chilling out with us, you're a fly on the wall. You're enjoying where the conversation takes us, and where it's taken us is apparently bad takes
Everywhere.
on Snake Eyes and CZW or GCW. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is CZW even still around?
I think it's a very, very much a shell of its formermess. But also, Takahata, the VTuber I was talking about earlier, he worked with AEW on a thing recently.
Yeah, I saw you posting about that. That was crazy.
Yeah. It's just fucking... and he was very specific. He was like, this is the first time a VTuber's done anything with a wrestling company. And people are going like, yo, what about Brendan Williams? He's a VTuber right now. And he goes like, yeah, that's a wrestler coming into the VTuber sphere, not the same thing.
I broke the barrier in the other direction.
Yeah.
Damn. Snake Eyes with lips. Just bad.
God damn, that belt for the tournament does look nice though.
I wonder if we're gonna end this podcast.
I wonder
I
if that
mean,
will happen.
It is now officially Monday.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah, the week's no longer over. The week has begun, fellas. So,
We got to start saving all the stories and saving our piss on our balls.
all
I do
right,
have
all right,
some
all right.
bits to deliver.
On that glorious note, why don't we go ahead and start closing it out? Snowcone, tell the good people who you are and where they can find your stuff, should you want them to.
I just read something really funny at the same time of you saying that, so I
Oh my
apologize.
god.
Funny.
Let me post it real quick. I don't want to read it out loud. Okay, now I'll read it out loud. If K is a substitute for OK and some people call their grandpa Pop, could K-pop be a substitute for OK Boomer? My guy, I'm here to blow my load, not my mic. Oh, this is comments from a Pornhub.
Oh my
video.
god.
This is beautiful.
We have truly gone to the nth degree on this episode.
That's all I'm going to say, actually. That'll be my closing statement. Goodbye.
All right, cool, beautiful. I love you, Cody.
All right. Fucking Boingo, where can people find your shit?
Hey, howdy, I'm Chris Boingo, writer Gaston. I make a variety of content on the internet. I'm stopping that bit.
Good.
Fuck you. My singing voice is beautiful. I make video essay and editorial type content on YouTube. You can find me at Boingo Writer. I got some other projects in the woodworks, so you'll be hearing about them soon. But if you want to follow me on the Twitter, it's Boingo_writer. Some things are popping off over there. I'm building up to a project. You will see it soon. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Boingo_writer, because I'm a lazy bum and I don't want to change my handle on every social media platform.
Right. Well, I am the Vacuuminator, another toy reviewer here on YouTube, one of millions and one of trillions. But I feel like I have a bit of a unique spin on things. So why don't you go check that out? Go check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thevacuuminator, TheVacuuminator. My latest review is of the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Dino Thunder Red and Blue Rangers. So go check out my thoughts on those if you're at all interested in those figures. Also, check out my Twitter, at the Vacuuminator, for general thoughts on anything and everything, and follow me on Instagram at _Vacuuminator for daily action figure photography. But before you do any of that, do me a big favor. Follow this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to it on. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe, ring the bell in order to enable notifications, and get every Modular Media podcast as they come out. And follow us on Twitter for updates on everything and anything we're doing. That's at The Modular Media. And you can join our subreddit for the same reason. That is r/Modular Media. But that's going to do it for this episode of Modular Components. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. It's been a fun, interesting time. We talked about a lot of cool stuff. And hopefully we'll be back to do the same next week.